Yeah, that's right, Lauren. And tonight's Senate budget proposal comes 1 month after Governor Josh Stein released his budget proposal, a $33.6 billion budget. And while the counter from Republican leaders tonight recommends a smaller budget increase, it hit on some major topics, including more funding for Western North Carolina and raises and bonuses for state employees and teachers that legislators hope will address some of those workforce shortages.
Address our most pressing needs, including Hurricane Helene recovery, increase salaries for most state employees and teachers, and further cut taxes for all North Carolinians.
That's Senate President Phil Berger laying out the Republican leader's vision for the next 2-year state budget that touches on everything from health care to Helene relief to mobile sports betting. One of the first points Berger emphasized was pay raises. Under the proposal, most state employees would get a 1.25% raise in year one, plus a $3,000 bonus paid out over the 2 years. Teachers would receive an average 2.3% raise in year one and an average of 3.3% over both years, plus that same $3,000 bonus. Finally, state law enforcement officers, correctional officers, and Capitol Police would receive more than 5% pay increases, while local law enforcement would get $3,000 bonuses.
The budget makes a concerted effort to target funds to areas with the most pressing workforce shortages.
In total, the Senate's budget proposal would increase the state budget from the current total, $31.7 billion, up to $32.6 billion in year one and $33.3 billion in year two. A large chunk of that will go towards ongoing Hurricane Helene recovery efforts.
Thus far, we've put more than $1.4 billion towards Helene recovery, and this budget will add another $700 million into the Hurricane Helene reserve.
It also includes more tax cuts, further slashing personal income tax rates. Berger says that's following the recent efforts of Republican Senate leaders since 2011.
Our proposed budget builds on these efforts by cutting the tax by 0.5% in both 2027 and 2028.
And those tax cuts are very much at odds with the governor's proposed budget, where he's lobbying to maintain current tax rates and has actually raised concerns about a possible budget deficit should new tax cuts be passed. Senate President Berger said today that he's not concerned about that. He said that he hopes that they'll have a finalized budget by sometime in June, but there is a lot in this proposal today that we will be following between now and then. Lauren?
All right, Sean Coffey reporting for us. Sean, thank you. And tonight, reaction to the proposed budget. The North Carolina Association of Educators says parts of it are irresponsible and that, quote, the Senate budget fails to meet the needs of working class families and lacks the vision for public schools that our students deserve.